Gentlemen, welcome to the Underground.
Cheers.
Prost.
Cheers.
Our inaugural Outlaw Underground podcast.
Here at Goodwin Speakeasy here in Gruene, Texas. I know that we're honored to have Mr. Kade Isaakson. Thank you so much for being here, Kade.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, we had, was it breakfast, lunch? I don't remember. When we were talking about this, where'd we meet up at?
That was just right around the corner at Buttermilk.
No, before that.
Oh, God.
And we were talking about it. I don't remember where the hell we were at. And, we were at Sakura.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, let's have Kade as our first guest.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Because I'd spoken to you, I think, once at that point.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I was like, I think he'd be a good guest.
Yeah, man. He has become a good friend. I know that you moved down here from, was it Iowa?
Idaho.
Idaho, they're all the
Oh
same.
my
Man. I'm
God.
sorry.
It's not the same.
I'm sorry, it's the same.
They don't have the cornfields in Idaho, I think.
No, they got
do
the potatoes,
The
don't they?
potatoes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to be
The
so
best
disrespectful. I know that you non-Texans get that disrespect. Where are you from originally?
Illinois.
Illinois.
Yeah. I got here as quick as I could.
I know. So, but yeah, you got down here. When'd you move down here, Kade?
When? 2019, November of 2019. And then 8 months after I moved here, COVID hit.
Bam.
But it was actually kind of like a blessing in disguise because it made me move from Belleville to here. And I found the Grove and all these beautiful people here. So,
What made you choose Texas, though?
music. Entirely music.
Hell yeah, man.
My dad used to bring horses down here and stuff like that, so definitely was a big part of like my influence and growing up.
What was it like for you, like, getting your start going in Idaho?
My mother was a musician, so I was playing since I was like, I was always around, but like 10 years old, I kind of started to pick it up. 13, I started to play professionally, and I had my Dimebag Darrell Razorback.
Of course.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
my favorite guitar player, you know. So riding around with that, playing country songs with my mom, and
So that's where you started, but backing up your mom?
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
It was way cool.
Your mom
Yeah.
is awesome. She's Nicole. She's
Yeah. Sweet Nicole.
Sweet Nicole.
goes
She's an
by.
incredible artist. She's been up here on our stage before, so we've been honored to.
Does she live down here as well?
She moved back home,
Okay.
which is great. My little brother's over there. No, I love my mother. I love my mother. But definitely, it's nice to have my own space. You know, she understands that, and she's got to make sure that they don't forget the Isaacsons over there.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
So how old were you the first time you took the stage?
getting paid was 13. At 12, I did my first open mic with my buddies. I was
Okay.
actually playing bass then too. Like, I remember
What
singing
song did you guys cover?
Seven Nation Army,
Oh, nice. Right on.
and in the wrong key too. Let me add that.
Well, yeah.
We had to make it easy on ourselves. And then at 16, my mom actually found I played drums too. My Aunt Lonnie was a drummer, so like we had like a family band growing up. And then I ended up being a drummer for this country band my mom was friends with, and I did that for 2 years. And then I went to the ranch in West Yellowstone, and I would drive home on the weekends to play some shows or play in Montana, save some gas money. But I would leave at like 4 in the morning on Sunday to get back home to the ranch to get to work,
Get to
on
work.
time and all that.
Wow.
It was a lot of work, but I definitely got to do a little bit of everything. And my mom left home like at 21 or so. So we had a band together then, so I had to kind of take over the band, and it taught me a lot. Like, it was a lot of work I didn't realize she was putting in behind the scenes, like booking and doing all that. And, you know, just maintaining your reputation while also being an outlaw, you know, can be kind of difficult.
For
in
sure.
a small town especially.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing, because, you know, you definitely want to project a particular image.
Yeah.
But it's a fine line between, you know, creating this image and not being blacklisted everywhere you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only, you know what I mean? Like, I've always been respectful, but like, respectful there and here is different, you know? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot more religious standpoints over there, where here it's like, you're religious, but you like to have fun. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
which is totally fine and dandy, but I mean, the way I was doing things over there was
Over there in Idaho.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
eventually I fit in a lot better here. Like Waylon Jennings said, you can't live in Texas unless you got a lot of soul, and I feel like I agree with that entirely, especially the Central Texas area. Everyone here really appreciates what I'm doing with my band, and I really appreciate them.
So what brought you to Beeville? What made you, so if you go from home to then you choose Texas, what brought you down that way?
It was Belleville.
Belleville.
Out by like Sealy, all that, what is it, Austin County, right?
I'm just being disrespectful to everybody.
I don't even know where that's at.
It's a total like ranching town in the middle of, nowhere over there. And I actually just kind of took a chance, man. Like I had a job in Katy lined up. I was at a tap truck. It was like old F-100 Ford. I think it was a 1960 something. I have no clue.
Yeah.
Old ass truck that I would take on the highways. Had one, didn't have any seatbelts, had one wiper. And you know how
It was on the driver's side, right?
Yep.
Nice.
That's all that matters.
No, and one time it didn't work. When I was driving on the highways in Houston, and
That
I was like,
one
I don't
time.
have insurance. Like, if I die today, like, anyway. But I didn't know what the hell I was. I just wanted to be between Houston and Austin was my initial goal, and I just was calling. Like, I live in a fifth wheel trailer, so I'm pulling my fifth wheel trailer from Idaho to Texas, in the middle of BFE. I stayed Bandera, and I stayed an extra day there because I liked it so much. So I had a plan. If I didn't like where I was going back to Bandera.
Yeah.
And that's a cool area.
Way cool.
But you're still, I mean, as far as booking gigs, you're still kind of far out
Absolutely.
there,
Honestly, it would have been about the same as Belleville. So, like, I go to Belleville, and, like, I was calling places up. I have a 15-year-old lab at the time, too, and they have a over 100-pound limit, so you can't really bring Blue around with you, And, anyway,
What, is this at, like, RV parks or something?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I ended up at, I found this one in Belleville. It was called Koshati RV Park, some shit like that. And the owner gave me the best spot because he was about to leave. Like, he was about to sell the damn place, and nobody knew that. And
Finding somebody on
he
their
was
way,
like,
that's always
hell
the
with
best.
it, I don't care, yeah. Gave me the best spot, it was huge. And, like, they used to do music festivals there. Of course, I never was there when they did that because COVID and everything. But ended up selling it, and it kind of went to shit after that. But while I was there, I ended up meeting this awesome musician and friend, Mason Marek. He's incredible. He had a really big Spotify. He has a really big following in general, but his Spotify and everything like that was, way beyond anything I had really imagined doing at that point. So he ended up making friends with me and helped me kind of get. I was booking, smaller venues, total dive bars, and the locals actually introduced me to him. I got lucky. I guess they could sense the good old boy in me.
So what was your reception like in some of these smaller places?
They loved me, dude.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. I grew up in dive bars and stuff, though.
Sure.
I've always been really respectful. Like, when I first go somewhere, I'm shy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to piss anybody off.
You don't want to come in with your dick
That's a
swinging right
but
off
that's
the
a
bat.
pretty conservative area that you moved into. So then,
yeah, and like,
so then,
I don't know what's going on, Like, I don't know who these people
Got
are.
to feel it out a little bit.
I could disappear like a strong wind, Like, they could make up their mind pretty fast if I did something stupid and they didn't like it. So, and regardless, I just go in with respect. And it's always the old people that really end up liking me, which is my favorite. Cause
Yeah.
well, here I'll make him feel old right now. So my stepdad calls me up
Yes.
and he goes, "Hey, I just saw this incredible musician. We went out and had some drinks with your mother, and we had dinner, and we found this incredible musician out there in Brenham, somewhere in that area."
Okay.
So I was
Brazos
like,
Valley
"That's
Brewing.
awesome." He goes, "You need to have him play at your bar." A lot of people tell me that. So I was like, "Awesome, sure,
yeah.
absolutely, anytime." As fate has it, he calls me up. I happen to pick up the line, and I just happened to then be like, "What was your name again?" And it kind of registered again because my stepdad, Jay White, had said something about it. And so I was like, "You know what, man? I normally don't do this, but I got an opportunity for you." Which then gave him an opportunity to come down here to New Braunfels.
Hell yeah.
But he really did. He stood out. It was one of those things that you did. You stood out from the time that you showed up on the scene. You
Well, I
obviously
told
made a
you.
big impact on his day.
Which is great.
So were you still living in that area at the time of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
phone call?
It was really interesting. So I actually, before I even met Mason, I had this really great breakthrough with these wonderful people at Brazos Valley Brewing. They ended up giving me my first sponsorship, which a beer sponsorship,
Nice.
a craft beer sponsorship. And their beer is really good. I got fat from it.
Okay.
Because they would give me cases full.
You
of
didn't
it.
need
And
to eat. You were good.
And I was eating. You know? And I was broke at the time, so it was corn dogs and fucking, ramen.
Yeah.
So really healthy diet then. Throwing some peas here and there, lucky you. But I'm playing Brazos Valley Brewing, and I met them, and everyone always comes in and says something like, "Oh, my son has a bar in Nashville," or But his family was really sweet, and I was like, man, I've always wanted to play Green Hall. Like, I was like, I'd love to play in Green, And I end up moving here, and literally one of the first places I called was Green Grove. Well, actually, I had a cold call list. I called 30 places, and Chris was one of the last ones I called. And he picked up the phone and almost immediately gave me a show. And I was like, that's weird. Didn't even ask for my music or anything like that.
Fate had brought you into our purview.
It was during COVID too, so I'm sure he was hurting for people that were brave enough to play. I was like, I'm
Now,
not
was this
afraid to
after
die.
everything had been lifted, or?
It was. He had the food license down here at that time, so he was getting away with it because he had food.
Oh, okay.
This is speakeasy. We've been getting away with a lot down here.
Yeah, this thing it came in handy. And those pulled pork nachos, were my first love here. So, yeah,
Our good friends Paul over at Benny Keith Foods. We'll get another sponsorship throw out right there.
Because we're sitting here eating sliders, right? No. But called Chris, and he gave me a show, and first time I played here, he's like, man, you want to book some more? I was like, yeah.
How'd that first show go here?
You can definitely see how when somebody steps up on stage and you go, that guy's got it.
Yeah.
That guy's got it. And to see the evolution of where you have, started when you came on the stage with us, and to see what it is now, it's completely different, and it's evolved.
Which is great because, when I first started playing
I thought it was
here,
good then.
Yeah, and you're 4 years in.
It was I was an experienced musician even then, but I was still trying the first your voice is a hard thing to kind of get a hold of.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the ass,
Yep.
And it changes every day, but regardless, I was doing a cajon and tambourine setup then.
So you were just doing the one-man band thing at that point. Okay.
I was doing, the simple version of it, and I was standing up and playing. I had a big thing. I hated sitting down, when I played. And then I got that thing in 2020, and this was the first place I ever played that foot drum.
Okay.
And it was not great the first few times.
A little rough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was baptism by fire, and I definitely...
I thought it was fucking good.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing. Any musician, they're going to be most critical of themselves.
Yes.
You're going to make a mistake that stands out to you, and it's just going to drive you nuts, and nobody else noticed it,
It's even better when you record something and you have to listen to it all the time,
That is hard.
Yeah,
that's hard.
I can hear every mistake that
Yeah.
I've made, but also at the same time, it's you could never do that again. So
Well, and sometimes those mistakes are fun.
yeah.
There's happy mistakes.
Yeah. Sometimes it'll
Happy
drive you
accident.
nuts for the rest of your life. I know I've got a
Does
couple
anyone need
solos.
more drink?
I'm gonna get. A
Yeah,
little
no, these
bit
are
here.
delicious.
Yum yum.
Good friends Alex and Ann over at Dos Rios and all
Love
their
you, Alex, man.
all their friends and family that are also
What
part of
camera
that
do I look
brand.
into?
But then the idea,
Cheers.
I want in on that.
Cheers.
You guys know in third world countries and all that, you're supposed to look each other in the eyes.
Oh, well, you should do that anyway.
I think
But it's hard to look both of you in the eyes at the same time.
And how do you do it? Do you go do you open them real wide and make sure that they make eye contact, or?
I think that the spirit of it is supposed to be, you're supposed to
Like-
and cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers. But okay, so I got a question. So we'll skip forward maybe a little bit right there, because then you said you always wanted to play Green Hall.
Oh, we have to get into this.
I know,
Yeah,
because
this
this is actually just a fun little story, because it's
this is one of the things that landed you on this podcast.
Yeah, exactly, because then when we're true outlaws, when we said, all right, what makes an outlaw? Well, somebody that will then be his own captain, that goes his own way, that, I don't know, you get into it.
So you got your gig at the infamous Green Hall.
I did.
It is church. It's the mother church over there. So I mean, we got to give credit. That's why we opened up down here. That's the Shark. We are the pilot fish. They are obviously the big time.
The big draw.
I mean, it's the oldest dance hall in Texas.
They're the reason most people come to this town.
It's spiritual. I still go over there and I go into it, and you feel something. You can feel the energy of that building. It's special.
It was on my bucket
Hands
list.
down, it is one of the most special places in Texas.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I was like, from the time I was young, Billy Bob's and Green Hall, and Billy Bob's is on the way. I'm gonna make that happen.
Oh, you make it
Too
happen.
bad Gillies isn't still open.
I know. My dad actually had shirts from there that he took back.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, Green Hall. My friends. It almost feels kind of like cheating because my friends work over at Grapevine and stuff like that, and they're real sweet. And they had a cancellation over there. And if you're in there, you're in with the hall. It's all kind of the same corporation over there. And so I filled in, and then after that, the booking lady, I have called these people and messaged them, emailed them all times, and never got any response at all. Guitar stand, and I still had 2 stands that we had guitars on. Flying V, I brought my Les Paul that I like to play slide on, and then really dirty, messed up punk slide, let's go with that. And then I had my cigar box guitar, and my Telecaster and 2 acoustics. So a lot of instruments. And I told the band before going in on this, I was like, we're not doing Rage Against the Machine. We cannot, we play Killing in the Name of, right? And I love Rage, I grew up on that. And
we allow you to play it here at the Grove, and we're a family-friendly place, but we allow the artists to have their artistic expression be seen and heard up there however you want it to be.
And there's only, for me, it's like, you have to do it tastefully. You can't do it too much, to get away with it in a place like Green. Like, there's really only like 2 songs for me that really swear, My song, Fucked Up, and, Fuck You, I Won't Do What You Tell Me, That was great, that worked perfect, you see that? I told the band, we're not doing it. Like, we have to try to play here again, like I really want to. And we didn't do Fucked Up that night. At all.
So you probably would have gotten away with that.
Yeah, we could have honestly got away with mine. That Rage Against the Machine is pretty heavy. So, we play 3 sets acoustic. They tell us if we can tune it down a little bit, and I was like, well, we just played 3 acoustic sets. Like, I'm switching to electric either way. So I switched to electric and do kind of a pumped up version of Johnny Cash on slide guitar, and it wasn't, slowing it down or being any more quiet, and it just progressed from there. And I lost
the crescendo goes up and up and up.
The more you drink, the more quiet your music sounds.
Yeah, so I'm turning up my guitar a lot, and like even my friends that loved
it. And the audience
was
there, the crowd was there, was also enjoying it too.
So what day was this on? Like, what time?
It was a fucking Thursday.
A Thursday? Yeah. What time was it?
It was like, what was it? It was 6 to 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the night.
Now, were you playing on the main stage, or were you playing on the floor back by the bar?
The floor one, yeah. I wanted to play the main stage. We'll do that. Maybe never.
Okay.
You never say never.
Yeah, if they called, I'd be like, oh.
You should be honored. Yeah. It's Green Hall.
Remember those guys that brought in that Jackson Rhodes guitar? Like, we got to call them back.
Yeah. They didn't like that so much, and the crowd keeps going, and it's all of our friends, It's a Thursday, and like I have friends that brought like 50 plus people, and then the Grove.
That's not bad.
The Grove brings their goddamn monster crew, and then it's 90% my people, which is so great. And everyone wants, and they brought their friends that haven't heard me, and everyone wants it to get crazy. So they asked for my song, it's just oddly enough called Can You Hear Me? We do that one, and my band is like, come on. And I'm like, okay, fine, you know? And everyone's like, I could hear him in the back, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, in the crowd. And I'm like, all right. So we started out, and everyone screams, and I'm like, all right, it's on, we have to do it. You know, I can't not say the fuck you part. And I even looked back at the bartenders and everything. Bartenders were great, but the manager and everything were not too happy with us. And I'm like, all right, you know, we're leaving it all on stage. So we did all that, and you know, I have the audacity to be like, one more? No, we're good. You know, I'm like, all right, you guys know where we'll be. I'm like, I'm gonna go to the Grove. That was that extra cherry on top of like, yeah.
And a lot of people watching the podcast aren't going to understand that. But,
Well,
you know,
I was just sitting there, just like, I was like, oh god, not
throw me into it.
throw
Thanks
me
a lot,
out.
you fucking
Yeah,
asshole.
Here we
this
are.
shit.
And so my buddies, you know, they work for that company, and like he's tried to get us back in a few times and everything. And honestly, like, it's okay. We left it all on stage. I don't feel bad about it at all. Like, I feel like, and I know people have rocked harder there before. Don't be wrong, we got pretty damn loud. Like, I will say that. And, you know, we just did it. It was great. We had a great time. Everyone who was there loved it. They talked about it forever, and everyone was like, are you ever going to play Green Hall again? I'm like,
Yes, as soon as they call.
yeah, that's right.
Well, you're authentically yourself, and that's what you have to be, I think, in life. You know, authentic to the last drop. So, how would you then describe your music?
We have claimed it as black dirt country because, you know, you got your red dirt country. We're the, you know, I got that Rocky Mountain influence, and then like the southern kind of swampiness, you know. So it's alternative, it's country, it's rock, it's a little bit of everything, and I'm not afraid to experiment and do different genres. I don't really care. Like, I do care, and that's the problem. You know, I get way too excited for all sorts of different musics. I'm influenced by everything, and I really like to embrace that all in it and just try different things. And, you know, if my band comes up with a cool little bossa nova riff, we're going to use it, you know.
Yeah, I noticed you've got cello sometimes in there. And
My bass player, who's also a cellist and a wonderful, he's learning viola. That's how you say it. It's not viola, it's viola. Just so you know. The more you know, knowing's half the battle.
I have never listened to your music until this morning.
Well, and you know, those are new recordings, and
They just came out, too, right? Like, was it
out.
last night or the night
Last
before?
night was Milk and Honey, which is the theme for this.
yeah, we're going to use that.
Well, so there was Fucked Up. I'm like, yeah, that's good. Milk and Honey, that's the one that got me.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's bluesy, that's nasty.
For me, it's
I like
funny
it.
because like, it's funny how artists like pick their thing, you know. But everyone really likes Milk and Honey, and for me, I was like, my band was like, we have to record it. And I was like,
But you didn't want to.
I was like, it's one of my like. I just made it. Most of our songs we just make up at shows, and then I just
Okay.
go back and redo the vocals, and you know, I just like to feel the energy and do it. Like sometimes it goes good, sometimes it doesn't.
Sure.
Most of the times it goes pretty good, but Milk and Honey was one of those. Obviously, it's super simple bluesy stuff like key of E.
I wouldn't say super simple.
Yeah, well,
And here's why. Because it's not, it might be easy to play, it might be easy to write, but to get that feeling
yeah,
is not easy.
and I think
That's got to be something real genuine, you know, because we've all seen a million of these, you know, generic ass white people blues bands where I'll just go ahead and say it. One of my least favorite people in music right now is Joe Bonamassa. All show, no go. This guy is technically brilliant, but I don't feel an ounce of soul in anything he does.
He can do anything, but it definitely. I feel that he's trying to emulate it perfectly. Like he'll buy the guitar that even, you know, Frampton played, you know, or whatever, and like he'll try to emulate it exactly. He doesn't have his own sound, I think, is what he's lacking. You know, you listen to a lot of. I mean, he's technically talented. He's incredible, Joe Bonamassa, but like he doesn't have what, you know, let's say Jimmy Page has. You listen to Jimmy Page. Granted, he's not the cleanest guitar player, but he is, first off, a riff master. Second off, like, he has all of the feeling, you know, like, he has soul when he's playing. And I think, you know, not being afraid to fuck up is what makes soul So
Yeah.
All right. Ask him the question that
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. You're jumping
It's one of my
ahead.
favorite fucking things.
Well, I just want to say,
Mark used to always say, Mark has the best question.
we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But like especially when it comes to the blues, I love the blues. You know, good blues. But it's something that gets you. You know, when you listen to it. And for me, like some of my favorite blues stuff is those Mississippi Hill Country artists, like R.L. Burnside, Junior Kimbrough, T. Model Ford, Sidell Davis. You know, like these guys, not technically proficient. Not to say that the stuff that they play is easy.
No.
You know, especially when you're talking about somebody like Sidell Davis, who was, what was he, wrecked with polio? And I mean, the guy just had so much shit go wrong. I think he got stabbed or shot in a bar fight or something, you know.
But you can feel that when it comes out in your music.
Yeah, and it's that feeling that you get, you know, that's where the soul of what you're doing and why you're doing it eclipses technical ability.
I agree 100%.
Sam Cooke, the best of Sam Cooke. Y'all ever listen to that?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
At the very last of the recording is my favorite part of it, where it's a guy sitting with Sam Cooke and he says, will you please just hum 8 bars of soul? And that's all you hear, is you just hear him hum 8 bars of soul.
Yeah.
That's really
And
cool.
he's just humming it, and it comes across so beautifully. Something that it's just simple.
It's like
just
Sun
Sam
Well,
Cooke,
it's...
but it's so, I mean,
You listen to it and you think it's simple, but
yeah,
I
exactly.
feel that. No, that's definitely like, so like Sunhouse, he
fuck.
did the, you know, just stomping, clapping, and singing. That's, you know, real soul. Or even like, you know, Blaze Foley's recording like Clay Pigeons and stuff like that. I feel like you can hear birds chirping in the back and everything. Like they probably just put a recorder on the ground and start playing. I feel like to me that's like the most authentic version of music. And like everyone tries to overproduce everything nowadays. And like, don't get me wrong, like we overproduced to our standard on our stuff a little bit. Like we can't, it's not that we can't do that live, you know. We can do, that's the thing, is we can do all of that live, you know. But the thing is we still manage to maintain authenticity by just playing live together, all together, first off. And second off, kind of not really knowing where it's supposed to end. Like, I think that kind of allowed us to, like, give a more live feeling. And, like, I was in a different room. All of them were in the same room together.
So you're talking about recording?
Yes.
So you're recording live?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it was, you know, I'm in a separate room to isolate the vocals in case I need to, redo anything. And my band's all together, but they did a really great job of just, like, knowing. I wanted to redo Milk and Honey. Like, I wasn't super happy with it, but everyone was like, we can't do that way again. It was perfect. Like, everyone was like, it has a feeling to it. Like, it's just like, it's how it would be live, you know? It would have that kind of authenticity. And, you know, we lack that nowadays in modern music, because listen to pop country, everything sounds the goddamn same, and it's so produced, it sounds so perfect, it doesn't sound human anymore.
Yeah.
It's auto-tuned, and, you know, not that that's a problem, you know, and it's not a problem to listen to that kind of stuff, but it's got to get old, right? Like,
I think that at the end of the day, it's just formulaic.
Exactly.
It is, yeah.
And so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with formulas. Formulas are what work. And so then the idea of staying
They're
inside...
looking at it from a business perspective, not a
Exactly.
music
When you stay inside
perspective.
that box, you're just staying inside that box.
Exactly.
And that,
I think
it's
you
hard
can
to put
have
it in
a
a box.
formula too, though, and still like be like original. Like, look at Billy Strings. That's a good example. Or Sturgill Simpson. You know, they do have their formula, and it's a different formula that, you know, Billy Strings, they have their bluegrass formula where it's perfect. Like, they're getting their things perfect, but they got that little touch of like psychedelic outlaw, you know, like just real talent, raw talent, you know.
Psychedelic outlaw.
I don't think that's a genre
Is
yet.
that a genre? Is that your genre?
It could be, man. Like I said, there's no limit to what we want to do. So it might not be able to pull it off every time, but we want to do it.
I got a question for you. So as your career's going on, and I've gotten to know you as a friend, speak about and tell us some more about how you were almost, and this is, I love the almost in life, because I'm really happy that things didn't happen on a certain way, but you were almost about to be on a TV show which might have done certain things or taken it a different way.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say the TV show or anything like that.
Don't say it.
I don't know if that's like a real thing. Like they could sue me.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, okay, so then you almost have this opportunity to be on a national publication.
It's an international publication.
So to feel like you're about to be part of that.
They even air this shit in like, I mean, it's of course English-speaking countries and
It's
shit
not
like that.
AGT, is it?
No, but it's something like that.
I did do that before with my mother.
But you did?
This is a separate one.
Really?
So I've done this shit 3 times that I actually almost got somewhere, which is so fucking annoying. Like, I've been so close so many times to so many things, and to be honest, like, it's great to be let down in life because it maybe makes you like...
Well, I feel like we're sitting here with the guy today because if you would have taken that path, and they say maybe, what is it, Andy Warhol's 15 Minutes of Fame, everybody gets it there.
Yeah.
The longevity of the career that you have now, on the man that you are now.
This is more accurate to who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a TV show...
Or if he'd have made it, he would know who the fuck we were.
Well, I was already friends
That's true.
I was already friends with Chris at this point. Well, before all of this, no. Like, I mean, like, so America's Got Talent, I did that with my mom when I was like fucking
Was this some CMT
18.
bullshit or something?
No, it was...
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
So, America's Got Talent, I did it with my mom when I was like 18, and we made it through 4 auditions in Salt Lake City. We were...
Probably an easy market.
Yeah. So,
I had to. No offense to you guys, seriously.
and it was, we ended up with some European judges at the end that, you know, you don't hear a lot of that kind of accent in Salt Lake. So I was like, oh, you know, we actually made it, you know. And they sent us an email telling us that we'll be let know what the next deals are or whatever after that, what the next steps are. And I don't know if my mom didn't check her email or if we didn't get accepted or what, but like it ended up not working out. I think my mom honestly just didn't check her email. But at the same time, I'm sure she would have been like very on top of it too, because she deserves a big break as well. Like she makes some of the greatest songs I've ever heard, and she's one of the best singers. Like,
does she have like recordings out that you can listen to?
I have
on,
some I could show you.
Oh yeah,
like iTunes or, you know, I mean, because that's the thing. It's like
I gotta be honest. Like, it sucks because she just didn't at one point didn't have enough money to pay to keep her stuff online. You know, and that's another thing with musicians. Like, you know, sometimes that's a thing for us.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, am I gonna eat today, or am I gonna keep my stuff online?
Well, that's something else I want to talk about that we haven't gotten into. You don't have a job.
No.
This is what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're in a spot where you can do it, you know?
At this point, I don't have a kid, you know.
You don't have any kids, you're not married,
I don't
right?
want to. Yeah, I'm not married.
Because that's another thing, too. I mean, you're in a spot where you can kind of just throw your hat in the ring and say, this is what I'm fucking doing. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't work out, I'll figure it out later.
Honestly, I might get a vasectomy to keep that the same way. You know, like,
oh, man. Well, you know, I don't know how much we want to get into how much pussy's being thrown at you or whatnot, but... you know,
it's part of the game.
You want to fucking be like Johnny Appleseed all over the Texas Hill
exactly.
Country,
Well, and
you know?
honestly, too, like, there's too many fucking people on the planet. They don't need another one of me.
No.
You know?
Oh no, don't say that, man. It's just at the right time, right place.
Yeah. I definitely just want to keep going at this rate I'm at. Like, I technically have a family, you know. I've got a band. I've got to take care of them.
One of the most dysfunctional families you could ever hope to have.
Well, and they actually make my real family look really.
But you guys are.
neat.
It sounds like you guys all get along really well, and musically everything works really well.
They're my best
I mean,
friends.
but that's not the only fucking thing.
No.
When it comes to being in a band, it could be like, I don't like the way you chew your fucking bubble gum or something.
Well, when you're on a
You
tour
do
bus
it.
for fucking, you know, a month at a time, of course you're
But you
gonna
guys
get-
have done that.
No, I haven't done it with them.
Oh,
I've done it
okay,
with other
okay.
people a few
Yeah,
different
yeah.
times, and
So you
like,
know what the fuck I'm talking
oh
about.
my god,
it's
it's
like, man,
disgusting,
these little
dude. Like,
things can...
you know, you might love this motherfucker, but you know, he's microwaving a steak every day. You know? And you're like,
A milk steak?
you actually nailed it. And I was, you know, and I love those motherfuckers, but you know, you got milk steak farts in the goddamn
No.
van. You're like, get the fuck out. You know?
Seriously, microwaving.
No, yeah, but like, we didn't have a fucking cooker. We didn't have anything to cook this
That
shit.
means you don't buy steak, you buy Hot Pockets.
Eat a goddamn celery stick. You know what I mean? Like,
Fuck.
you know, and I had another friend on another tour that microwaved steaks, but he didn't make it a milk steak, you know, and he was just trying to eat healthy. And it was funny how many times I've seen that happen, because I'm sitting there like, oh no, but good for you, you know? So And
no matter how big you get, those are still the same guys that take the shit in the bus, where you're like, you can't do that. You can't do that.
That's against
we didn't have a goddamn shitter on our bus. Never have I been that lucky.
Oh, so you really aren't supposed to take a shit on it.
Yeah, you pull out the bucket.
It's like rules, man.
Kate's not going to make it. Grab the bucket.
You don't break those rules.
So this band of yours is fairly new within the last...
my band. So here's the thing. I was like, I'm Kade Isaakson Band. I've been doing that for a minute. You can hear my shit on Spotify, where I was doing it on GarageBand in my fifth wheel trailer, playing all the instruments. And man, like, it's not great, but for what I had, I did pretty goddamn good. And I'm proud of myself for even releasing it. That's the thing. Like, somebody might hear my song and steal it or something. But now because I did that, they can't. Like, there's proof, like, Kate did that first. You know, and it's not even that that's the case. It's just, I want to inspire people, you know, to maybe, if you don't have the money or whatever to do it, just do it, man. Like, I want to hear your music. I want to hear your ideas, because somebody might hear that and help you out or whatever. Like, even if they don't, at least you did it.
Or you might hear their music and go, I'm going to steal that shit.
Well, and honestly, that's the sad part about music.
That's music. That's art.
Well, it's supposed to, but art is
too.
supposed to inspire you, and that's the whole thing. Is art should have a ripple effect, where if you create it, you throw that in there, and it ripples out to other people, then it should actually inspire other people, and that's what you should want.
I agree. That's honestly, for me, my biggest thing is, like, people ask me, like, why I'm here, like, why I do music, or, like, what's my main goal, and it's to inspire people. Like, for me, that's what's kept me going, you know. Like, I've been inspired by, you know, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Dimebag Darrell, Van Halen, you know, Robert Johnson, Leadbelly. All these people have kept me going. And Chris Cornell is my favorite singer of all time. I have to say that while we're here right now. While I'm talking about all that, those people kept me going, man. Like, I listened to those songs, and, like, you know, I wanted to kill myself a few times, and that shit kept me going. So I want to have my music maybe help somebody out the same way. Or, like, you know, you hear my shit-ass music and go, I can do better. I'm going to do my thing, you know, with GarageBand too. I want that, you know, friendly competition to continue, and I want inspiration to continue. And regardless, I just think that doing it is important. And inspiring people is my biggest goal in that.
Oh yeah, you definitely have. I mean, you can definitely watch people, how they connect with you on stage. As a talent buyer, as somebody who then is on the other side of things, and then when you look and see how people are affected by music, it's very tangible. You can watch it happen.
I guess I should come out and see you play one of these days.
I'd like that.
It's 100% worth it.
We're coming to you tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're tattooing you guys tomorrow.
Tattoos, yeah.
Any way you guys could come in earlier?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can
cool.
let them know right now.
It's like 3 people at 5 o'clock. That's a lot.
Yeah, especially
I've got a
how
1
good your
o'clock
tattoos
appointment. Probably be done by about 2:30 or so.
Yeah.
Mark
I want to come in at like 3.
Mark, you are a world-renowned tattoo artist. You have won numerous awards throughout your career. You recently just gave Kate his tattoo right there, one of them right there in the center of that beautiful rose.
Yeah.
I've got...
And it's so funny because we'd start to get into so many lines of conversation. We were like, gotta save it for the podcast. I can't remember half of the shit we were fucking talking
There
about.
was a lot of random shit.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you, Kate, so the note that you got a piece from Mark, and you've gotten
That's what we need to do. Maybe I should start tattooing people on this podcast, and then we can have a conversation.
Exactly.
That would be cool.
So then
We'll have you back.
Yeah.
that was Mark's last one. What are you getting on your next one?
We're actually doing, so we just released, this is what was so cool about doing Fucked Up, by the way. Like, this whole line of singles we just released is, and my buddy John Kersley take these pictures, and we all got to be there. And I mean, I got to put a cigarette out in a cheesecake. You know, that's like, that alone was all I've ever wanted to do. And that's what Mark's going to be tattooing on us, you know.
Yep. It's all drawn up, ready to go,
yeah.
by the way.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
And he had the same vision I did, because, like, in the picture, I just sent him the picture of this cheesecake with the cigarette out, and it's got, like, it's on a plate with the silverware. And Mark's like, when I got this one, he was like, I was like, what about just the cheesecake and the cigarette? I was like, that's exactly.
We're not doing the plate. We're not doing the fork. It's going to take up too much space. It's not important to the story.
So I've got work from Mark, and Mark has always been the one to edit he always, when I come, I'm like, I want this and this and this, and he goes, it's going to be bigger and less than what you were actually thinking. And they always turn out just perfect. So
that's what
Mark,
made me want to
giving
get
a shout out to Mark. You're over in San Marcos right now, aren't you?
Yep, Our Lady Tattoo.
Our Lady Tattoo.
Which is a beautiful tattoo shop.
It really is. It's probably the nicest looking tattoo shop I've ever worked in.
And you've worked all over the world. I mean, Germany. Roatan. I mean, you literally are an international artist.
So I worked in the United States in those two places.
Hey, I'm trying to help out on that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But truly, yeah. So check out Mark's work right there, because you can go to Instagram and make sure that you always check out Mark's work.
At Mark Deal.
At Mark Deal.
Yes, sir.
Kade.
Oh, okay. So listening to your songs. I don't do Spotify. I refuse.
Yeah,
for
it fucks
principles
us more than anyone else.
So I do iTunes. I know it's not that much better, but I do know they pay artists a little bit better.
It does.
So I looked up your singles there, and then I saw this other album cover, and I was quite confused. Here's this pasty guy with no tattoos, no facial hair. Who was that?
Well, so back then I had a few tattoos. I didn't have, that was the guy trying to make everybody else happy.
That was you?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was me trying to make everyone else happy. I also didn't have a lot of money, not that.
And you were still doing that. I'm guessing that's all one-man band stuff. Right?
Yeah, that was when I had my foot drum.
Yeah,
that's one of the album covers, right? It's the Higher Place in Heaven.
Yeah, it's like the drum.
Yeah.
The bass drum, and then you kind of out of focus behind it.
Exactly. Yeah, it was man, I think even then I only had maybe. I had this.
You couldn't really see anything.
No,
but
you
you're
can't see
also
Yeah.
got a guitar in your hand, so
That's most of my tattoos. Like this one was one of my first.
Okay.
That's my Mustangs brand. That one. This is from my family back home. My Gypsy fam, Les and Todd. And then I had my shoulder, and I don't think I even had my dog stuff then. But yeah, I definitely have gotten a lot more recently, and it's just because I've had first off more friends that tattoo me since I've moved here that can, more people that I trust to first off, well second off, and I had enough money to do it after all that. Mm-hmm. That was a big part, and still that not that it's a whole lot better now, but I just couldn't wait. If I'm gonna die, at any time, I'd rather have a story to be told on me, or have done something that I wanted to do.
yeah, at least you gotta amuse the medical examiner, right?
Yeah, right.
I think I would like to enjoy some more of this delicious Dos Rios tequila. What about you guys?
Cheers, man. Put me down for one. Here.
How much?
This one doesn't count.
Say when.
That's when.
Okay. Say when. That's good enough for me.
And me.
And
Just right there.
Did you just holiday me?
You know I did.
That's one of my
I'll
favorites.
be yo Huckleberry.
Cheers.
All right.
Thanks for coming down. So,
cheers.
To touch on something we talked about a little ways earlier in the conversation, hearing your recordings and stuff. That is, especially when you're in a studio setting, that's like Chinese water torture. Yeah. Listening to shit over and over and over.
Do you like the voice, your sound of your own voice?
All right, Chris, just get right to it, boss. Fuck yeah. For me, I've gotten better at it. I've liked my voice a little bit more. I hated the sound of my voice, man. And honestly, doing recordings is so very difficult. I think I struggle a lot more than some other people do, maybe because it could be lack of training, but also I have asthma. I've got stupid allergies. I didn't realize that my albuterol treatments for my asthma were actually maybe causing some harm to my vocals and stuff. And somebody told me they're like, how do you sing like that with asthma? And I'm like, for me, I just never realized I had a problem, Yeah. So I think I had to struggle a lot harder, and sometimes it can be different and difficult. And I honestly do not like the sound of my own voice, at least 60% of the time. I was gonna say 50.
Well, and with the struggles you've got, I mean, the good thing that come out of that is being able to adapt to what you have to deal with. You know, like you think about somebody like Link Ray,
guys,
who had one.
do you see those perfect bubbles? How fucking cool!
What the fuck?
I know, right?
It's like an IKEA shelf. That's pretty
I'm sorry.
rad.
Do you see that?
I see it. They're
That's
just actually
fucking
perfect.
crazy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bubbles right
That's
there.
I've never seen that before. Do you guys want to see that?
Pretty cool. All right.
I'm sorry, so off topic.
No, it's,
hey.
shit like that doesn't happen every
when
day.
miracles happen, you recognize them.
Yeah.
I could blow a bubble into my beer right now, dude. Okay, so Link Ray. I love Link Ray. Rumble and shit like that.
One
was
lung.
insane.
The guy's got one lung.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. One of my favorite vocal performances of his is, what is it? Ain't That Loving You, Baby? I mean, dude, his voice is so rough.
He's
I mean, it's
underrated.
no wonder he's primarily an instrumental musician, but his singing voice is just super gnarly. But I think he was able to use, you know, that extra little bit of difficulty
Yeah.
that he had in
Even
his
like
advantage.
Tom Waits and Guy Clark. Look at those guys even. Not the best singers. Or even John Prine.
I would argue that Tom Waits is one of the best singers.
That's the thing, is because like he's somebody who just like
Well, I mean, Willie
Lays
Nelson.
Well, he ain't singing like Freddie Mercury
Yeah.
or nothing. You
Willie
know?
Nelson actually I feel is underrated.
Oh, I agree, but I'm saying what it's because
It's not underrated. It just people a long time to figure out.
What he was doing.
Yeah,
But that's what made him
because
so
he
popular.
didn't sound like Lefty Frizzell or somebody else.
Well, I think
you know?
what the words that it's called classically beautiful. The classically beautiful voice is the one that you can always point to and go, Whitney Houston. Hands down, we go, that is a beautiful voice.
Absolutely.
But it's those other ones where you go, like...
that's Willie Nelson.
That's Willie Nelson.
That's Tom Waits.
That's exactly.
That's
and you go-
Howlin' Wolf.
And it's also just as beautiful, but just different. To where, yeah, I mean, that's what we're all talking about.
Yeah.
Your voice, though, is beautiful. It's unique. It stands out.
I don't think it'd be classically
It's-
beautiful. by
well,
any
and
means.
well, actually, both of them, Fucked Up and Milk and Honey. I'm listening to it. I'm like, I know it's him, but it doesn't. I wouldn't equate that
Me to
voice
that.
with, you know, the
Yeah.
two conversations that we've had prior to this podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
Which I honestly, I love that.
this
Like,
is a pod. What is this?
Well, it's a show. It's
Is
a
it a movie?
podcast.
it's
Is it like a major movie?
This is a debut.
a major
Awesome.
cinematic.
I think one of the biggest
Masterpiece.
things that when people try to then get too ahead of it is that it's a duplication of sound when you're fitting in that box. And if you just try to duplicate sound, that's where it sounds inauthentic. And so then when you hear something that is real, like Cade's voice, it stands out. And you go, I hear that. That is beautiful. I know that that is authentic. It's you. It's original. And it takes time to get there. It's just like you can hear a little bit of the change from the last couple of years since I've known you, since you've gotten here.
I've grown a lot.
And you can hear
Yeah.
that depth and that change in the way that you sing and how you can almost like abuse certain things of your vocal cords and then kind of like lean on certain things.
Absolutely. Like, and people, I guess, have been asking, you know, the folks that work here, it's my friends, been asking, like, how does he, like, maintain his voice, like, if he's screaming like that? Because I do a little bit of screaming, you know, I do a little bit of, like, harsh, I have a very raspy, you know, spot, and I know how to get there, and I think it's probably because I beat the shit out of it for so many years that I can keep
You're
up with
training it.
I've trained
Yeah.
it, you know, and I've sing sick, you know. Very rarely will I call out for a show. You know this. Like, I'm the person that fills in for other people.
I have to force you to then get off the
Yeah,
stage.
you've literally had to tell me, no, you shouldn't
you
show
should
up
not,
today.
do not.
You know. And,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he will. I mean, but it's also that dedication to where I know that you.
He will.
It's a sickness. You have to get up there and get it out of you.
It's
kind
my
of thing.
therapy, dude. Like, you know, maybe not a good way to look at your job, you know,
But
because then you
that's-
have
I get it.
expectations, which is difficult. But not having music, I mean, I would be pretty goddamn good.
Now you're doing it with your feet.
Yeah, so now I'm all like fucked up in the head about it. It'd give me a couple weeks and I'd be a great drummer again.
Sure.
But, I also have two of the best drummers in the fucking state, so I can't really, try to be any better than them either way. But
so as a kid, what'd you want to be when you grew up?
Well, that's the thing I was thinking of. I mean, you've been playing music since you were so young.
Yeah.
Was there even any other...
Anything.
Yeah, I mean,
like work for the city or be a cop.
I wanted to be a veterinarian. I grew up doing I lived on a ranch.
Well, doing the ranching stuff. Yeah,
and I loved that. I love animals. I love horses are a big thing of mine. I'm good at training them. I'm good at doing all sorts of stuff. I didn't realize how good I was at doing all that until I was away from it again. You know, and regardless, so I grew up. I wanted to play music, but I knew I had to find a grown-up job, and veterinarian was my first one, and I just didn't want to have to put animals down, so I kind of backed out of that.
I'm a big wuss. I couldn't do it.
But now, honestly, nowadays I feel like I would be better at that. Like I
feel like the older I get, I'm worse.
I feel like for me, it's like I've had to put my dog down. I sat there with him when he got put down. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, but I was there with him.
Yeah.
And for me, it meant the world that I knew when to call it quits.
Yeah.
I was carrying him outside my trailer, putting him over my shoulders, and that dog was with me my whole life. He was 15, goddamn lab. That doesn't happen very often. But I loved, animals, and I just didn't want to have to be in the situation to put one down, and that was a big thing. I backed out of that, and then my second was marine biology.
So you're good at science and shit like that,
I love
right?
that shit. I'm not very good at math, but science and
artists are not good at math.
If they
were, we would make a decision to make money instead of art.
That's true.
I got an A+ in business math, right? But
that's
like
how to cheat your taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. I wish I could cheat my taxes.
Yeah.
I still haven't done them.
I know a guy.
They're all listening that you can't anymore.
But marine biology, my aunt was actually a scuba instructor in Royal Town, Honduras.
Oh,
so
that's right. Yeah.
And my aunt's a drummer, and she does djembe and all that. So she met a lot of really cool people there, and just was inspired me. She traveled the world.
Did you say she still lives there, or
no? She moved. She got malaria and had to move.
That's a bummer.
Home. Yeah, she wasn't taking the damn malaria pills.
What, she drink out of the tap or something?
No, dude. The mosquitoes. They give you the damn malaria, and she got the worst one and almost died. And
I didn't know there were levels of malaria.
There's 3.
That's all right. You got the good malaria. You'll be fine.
No, for real. That's the thing. There's 3 different types of malaria, I guess. And mosquitoes give you this infection, and they're literally alien your ass. Implant these eggs in you that literally drink your blood, and give you diseases, and regardless. So I wanted to do that. I thought scuba diving and being a marine biologist and submarine, all that shit. I thought that was so cool. I always had saltwater tanks growing up, and really infatuated with all that. And then after that was geology. I went to school for marine biology and geology, my college stuff. And geology is a big thing for me too, because I love rocks. I love to know how the Earth happened, and you can see it. It's history that you can see,
Yeah.
And archaeology, the hieroglyphs and all that huge stuff. To me, I love all that.
Well, and Indiana Jones. I mean.
Yeah, for real though.
Who doesn't want to be an archaeologist after watching Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Exactly. And as there's just a certain level of there's just so much we don't know, and I'm always into that kind of stuff, regardless if it's the ocean or or history, and I think that's neat, and that's something I always chased. If it wasn't music, nowadays, I'm gonna be real though, if I didn't do music, I think I'd want to be a cook. I love cooking. I love, it's another thing I put my passion into, which might take the passion out of it, is cooking for a bunch of people all the time, but
yeah.
So I try to be careful with that one. Everyone else is they're careful with their music, not putting it out to certain people.
Well, and it can be better just doing a barbecue and having a bunch of people say, "Oh my God, your food's amazing!"
Keep being your passion.
It's no, I'm not opening a food truck. Forget it.
And you brought that up because it's really interesting that you said that. So if you said, "Oh, I might take the passion out of it." Mm-hmm. Okay, well then I look at that same thing and go, well then, as somebody who loves to sing. All right, I love to sing. Do you feel like it's taken the passion out of it because now you've taken on like you're the cook, you're the professional chef now?
That's a good question too, because like for me, singing wasn't my passion. I didn't like singing.
Really?
Like I hated singing growing up because it was hard. like
Okay, so it was intimidating.
Hard shit to do, and my mother was a better singer than me. I mean, she was the best singer I'd ever fucking seen in real life. And honestly, still, Mom, you know, for real though, like top 3 best singers I've ever seen in real life when she was at her best. Not that she wasn't always great, but like, I feel like out of all of my things, I really rely on my vocals now. Like I realize how important they are, and I have to take care of them and everything, but they're not necessarily my passion. Making music is my passion. Like creating. I like to, you know, make new songs all the time. Playing with my band, that's why it's so important I have them. Because I was doing things on my own, I still made my own songs, but having them adds that extra level of creativity, an extra level of like, they did what I could hear in my head, or they didn't and they made it cooler.
So you like creating the beat more than creating the lyrics?
Yes.
Okay.
But also too, like I always do it's music first and lyrics after for me. Like I already know the feeling, so I want to follow that, or I have an idea in my head why I even wrote it. So I'll go back and do the vocals. But honestly, I don't feel that way because I don't ever get tired of creating. I get kind of burnt out on people more than anything. I'm probably, like I said, I got social anxiety and stuff like that. But also too, like when there's a good crowd and I have all these people that want to see me, it makes all the difference.
They want a piece. They want to talk to you. And they want to have that experience with you.
Yeah, and granted, there's good and bad in that. But like, I really love it most of the time. Like I love to meet people. I love,
especially after a 12-pack.
Man, and after a 12-pack or like
a good show.
After a good show, like it's a high I always have to chase. For me,
that's what it is. It's the high that you have to chase. So, okay, I'm glad you said that because it was a little bit to come off of my mouth. I've worked for a bunch of famous people a bunch in the past, and it's amazing how they all say the same thing. When you get off stage, there's something about that feeling that you don't want to let it go. You can't let it go.
Musicians, professional wrestlers, comedians. I mean, they all experience the same thing, man, where you do this live performance and you get to this high that is like no other high.
Yep.
And then you're like, man, I like being that high. How do I keep
Well, then you understand the propofol thing with Michael Jackson, where you go, I get how he had to literally have somebody put him to bed because the drugs had to take him down from that feeling of like what it comes down from that.
My mother and I would stay up till 3.
Is that addictive? Is that what chasing that high? Is that the addictive part?
It is absolutely. It's being in front of a crowd and playing live. Like for me, that's like. Granted, sometimes you don't get that high playing live. Sometimes it's a shit show. Like, literally, you know, like sometimes you kill it. Some days you just smoke. You know, some days you blast off. Some days you just choke. All that, you know. My mother, though, like I remember getting off stage the first time when I was 13. I played at my local ski hill. Pebble Creek is what it's called. And it was literally like 8 minutes up the road from our house, which is so cool. We lived that close to a ski. Like, I learned to snowboard there. But they also were the reason I had my first paid show. And somewhere I could play with my mom because everywhere else I had to be 18 or 21. And so playing there, I remember getting off stage. My mom's like, "You've got it." I was like, "What?" She's like, "You're a lifer." I'm like, "Why?" And she's like, "You're gonna always chase that high." And she's like, "I saw it." And like, she was right. I mean, that moment right there, I knew that was something I could never give up. And I knew that I had, the ability to do that. I could get paid to do something I really loved. It was a life changer.
See, I guess I was a typical junkie. I generally paid to get that. Like I made shit for money playing music.
That's my mom. But I got lucky.
But doing it, having fun with your fucking band, and that high. Like there's nothing else that feels like that.
And it's neat too because like it's always been a family experience for me, and that's why I've been so careful about picking out. Like it was Kade Isaakson band, so I had other people that would join me and play with me. I got to pick anyone I wanted to pick. It's not about them; it's about me, which is it was like a narcissistic, ridiculous thing to think. because I knew the importance of having a family in my band, and then I got to pick these people I have now, and they are the most talented musicians I've ever met in my life, and the most functional family I've ever had in my life, which is interesting, because I've had a dysfunctional growing up, and like there was always love, and for me, like, that helped me carry it on in my band and make sure that, like, it made me a better communicator to have a fucked up life. It made me be able to, like, really put things together and keep these people together and communicate things I did and didn't like. And because of that, like, I think I have a really, really talented group of people that believe in each other.
Well, and so that can be tough. Like, I've always been jealous of guys who do, like, one-man band operations, because you don't have to schedule band practices. You don't have to worry about competing schedules. You don't have to worry about competing artistic visions.
Oh, yeah.
And that stuff is super fucking hard to deal with.
Ego.
Yeah, ego's
it's terrible,
balance.
The balance is the most important thing. But like with these guys, like, so you're obviously the boss. I mean, the band has your name. But when you get with guys you can trust, like, are you in a position where they can say, hey, maybe you should try this differently?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. For me, that's like, so creative differences in my band never really happen. They're
The my way or the highway kind of shit?
No, not at all. Like, that's what's so special. Like, this group of people, like, they believe in my idea. And if they have a different idea, they pitch it to me, and I'm cool with that. Like, for me, it's like, you're an asshole if you're not a good boss, quotations, if you can't listen to other people's ideas. I mean, they're working for you. They're going to be the ones to tell, which is, I shouldn't say it like that. They're working with me. We're working together to get the best product that we can get. And, like, working in the food truck with the group, you're going to learn more that way than if you just hear them talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. That's not a boss, that's a leader. And for me, that's, like, how I feel about it. I've never really liked to say that, but literally, like you said, my name's on the damn band, and I would have done something differently. I have. I went by Better Than Nothing back home as my band. And before that, it was Kin Band, which is that with my mom and all that. I didn't feel right going with the same name, after she left. Regardless, I'm the one writing the music, so that's why my name is on it, is because I'm the one writing the lyrics. I'm the one that's kind of taking the creative direction.
That, and it almost seems like, no offense, it almost seems like with the type of music venues that you're pursuing in this genre, that's just kind of what people do.
Yeah.
They put their name, and it's not, And
it's not me, trying to be narcissistic or anything like that, It's honestly just because, like, I was already playing and you guys already knew me by that name,
Yeah.
And
doing the one-man band thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think it allows me to have a little bit of freedom to be Kade Isaakson as I play on my own, and also Kade Isaakson Band, and I have them. So...
Boy, doesn't that just, like, kind of show you the evolution of, like, the way our thought process is, though? Because, like... back in the day, it would have been like, fuck you, I'll do whatever the fuck I want. And now, like, we holistically think about how we want to then, like, be better people.
Absolutely.
And so, like, the idea of, like, all right, I'm going to listen to my group, and I'm only better because of the people that I surround myself with.
That's a big part
of
it.
Yeah, you're better because of that.
Exactly. And, like, I think it's important to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
Like, every single member of my band is better than me at a lot of things, and they have more... technical ability, first off. Second off, they have more, like, really real knowledge about music theory. Me, personally, I just do it. Like, I have a general knowledge of music theory, I get it, but, like, if I'm going to study anything, it's going to be rudiments, like rhythm.
Get the basics down.
Rhythmic stuff is more important than anything else, personally, for me. I don't really care about this mode or model or, like, a scale. Personally, I'll let my lead guitar player and bass player do that. Like, they're the most talented humans I've ever met. Like, I'm not even kidding you. My bass player, particularly Connor Montoya, is, like, he changes everything, and he really listens to my music, and he goes and adds cello to it and makes these songs sound like something I would have never thought of. And it just makes me so happy to hear my music with a fucking cello in a classical style. Dude, it literally makes me like, I've teared up to my own music. You know, I've literally watched him play at my own show and like been emotional, which is so cool to have those kind of feelings with your own stuff because somebody else added their flair to it. So there's never really been a creative difference. You know, we're not afraid, and that's what's great about my band is we're not afraid to tell each other like, I don't like that. Try this instead.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a good, you know, good job, a good work site, a good workplace.
Well, it's safe and it's healthy and it's one of those things that you can
good family.
Family, you can express yourself as you want to be expressed.
I learned from the best, man. Like, you got to make sure that your people are happy and like, they're definitely happy. I know that they love playing with me. I love playing with them. And like, if anyone's gonna do it, if I'm gonna do it with anyone, it's gonna be with those guys. I feel like.
Yeah.
You know, I trust them. I believe in them. That's probably the coolest thing I've ever. This has been my favorite band I've ever played with. Is this group I've made right now.
Right now, if you were say looking out forward in the future, 6 month, 1 year, 2 year plan. What are your plans looking out in the future?
Biggest thing we want to do right now is hit the road. You know, I want to record all of our music. I've got 60 plus songs that are actually like decent, that are worth recording. I'd like to do that, get ourselves a bus, hit the road. I'd like to play more music festivals.
Have you played many festivals?
Personally, I have, but not with my band.
Okay.
I played a few music festivals with other bands and, you know, my own thing. As Kade Isaakson even. Nothing like super huge. But yeah, I love music festivals. I love going to them. You know, I would love to be a part of something like that. That's probably 6 month music festivals. You know, more shows with the band. A year tour. You know, I'd really like to hit European tour.
Dude, in Europe,
my life.
I can tell you, they take care of bands so good.
We were talking about this. That was another thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I told you about, was it Alan the Black Cats?
Yeah.
You know, these guys from Michigan that I met over there. And they had essentially moved to Germany because, you know, they're from Michigan. And they're a rockabilly, kind of a punk rockabilly band. You go... You know, here in the States, I hate to say it, there is, and it's seriously declining, an appreciation for the arts.
Yeah.
You know, aside from a really super base consumer level.
That formulaic thing we were talking about earlier.
And, you know, in Europe, you go on tour over there, man, these venues, they put you up, they feed you. You have a shower, like, you have a decent toilet to take a shit in. You know, here in the United States, it's like,
it's a porta potty.
They're like, oh, you show up,
Hardy's porta potty, yeah.
And what you see is what you get, you know. I would definitely encourage you to do that, you know.
That's
definitely seek out. So, thinking along those lines, you know, your desire to do these tours and festivals and potentially get to Europe. How are you going to make that happen?
I mean, there's a lot. That's the thing, is it's all just putting it together, right? And like, first off, I've been booking all these shows and managing this band, doing everything on my own this long. First thing I need to do, I want to find a booking agent. You hear that?
This is a plea to you right now.
Oh, you're out of the business, aren't you?
I just don't bars anymore. I don't do that anymore.
Chris helps me manage a lot of stuff. He keeps me together.
Well, I mean, you've done it, so
I've
that's
done
the thing.
it, but I'm saying I did it in a past
You
life.
can help steer him in the right direction.
Absolutely. I'll steer you to the right agent.
Yeah.
Well, and I know when I get somebody that's, I've had people push their shit my way, you know, and it's just, you don't know who to trust. So I have him to at least be like, hey, like, what do you think of this, you know? If anything, they're going to meet with Chris before I bring them around. You know, they're going to be
an overall business manager.
Well, and the whole thing is
guy.
like, people want access and they want to claw on when it's a meteoric rise. When there's a rise to anything, people then see that and they go, oh, I want some of that. I want to be part of that.
Well, and like, that's the thing too, is like, we have done it all on our own this far, and like,
why do you think I'm here?
It's kind of, I know, I have faith in like my band and myself, and like, I know that something will happen. It's just whether or not it's good or bad. You know, like
Yeah.
I need to keep a good eye on that and make sure that we have some control, of course, because like we were saying with the the TV thing we were talking about, how I was almost on all that. I mean, I went through 7 different fucking interviewing courses of them like asking me about my psychological orders and.
Whoa!
I kind of brought all that up because then what made me think about that earlier is if you think about the person that you are now as an artist, and it's easy to look at it now and say, yeah, Monday morning quarterback it. But do you really think that you would have been the same artist if you would have been that same kid on TV?
Well, the thing is if
I mean, you would have been just like a polished version of whatever the fuck they
Well, you would have
wanted
been
to do.
swept up into the machine, and
Which
then
is
they could
Los
see what
Angeles.
they could do with you. And if it didn't work out, you're out.
Exactly, you just flushed me down the toilet.
And what does that do to you psychologically?
Fucks you up even
know?
more, dude. I mean, like, I have enough bullshit. Like, last thing I need is them saying, like, oh, you're not good enough. And
Sorry,
they essentially did.
you're not what we're looking for.
But, that, honestly, too, like, being fucked up has just fueled me. Like, telling me I'm not good enough for something just makes me want to do it even more. You know, or like, oh, I don't like that. Be like, oh, yeah? You're going to like it. I'm going to make sure you find a way to like it. I'm going to do something to make you like it somehow. Even if you say you don't. Like, you don't like red sauce? Let me add a little bit of white in there,
Yeah.
Going back to the cooking thing. Yeah, but like, I don't know, man. I think that the thing is they would have owned my intellectual property as well. So everything I've already done, they would have owned me. So
Yeah.
I hate that idea of anyone owning me and any, I hate owning
Well, I think you
anybody
proved
money.
that when you went on to Green Hall. And
Yeah,
you
I know.
sang, fuck you. I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. I want in on that one.
Fucking Chris getting fucking rowdy over here. Hell yeah.
First.
I haven't drank with you in a long time.
It has been a while.
No
right?
shit.
Yeah, it has been
This
a
is
while.
a new one.
But I will say that it was fun. It was fun to watch people just be themselves and to know that, you've got your own future ahead of you and you can do whatever you want and it doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, you're already
That's
living in that
exactly
fifth wheel
it.
trailer. Where are you going to go from there?
The
Down?
thing is, like, yeah. Yes, I love that. I'm gonna come to your house and pop your fucking tires.
I've got a spare room.
That's like, for me, like, that's the thing. Like, what do you want from your life? For me, it was really simple. I just wanted to go and play music. I didn't give a fuck where I lived. I don't give a fuck if anyone. I drive a '97 Cougar.
It's pretty sweet.
It's a pretty fucking sweet
That's
car,
probably the
man. I'm
coolest
gonna
thing
say
about
that is the coolest
myself.
goddamn car thing.
That's the coolest thing about myself. It's not even the musician part. That car is cool as fuck. But, like, you'd see my house and, like, see all these things and just... eventually it makes sense for why I am the way I am. But, like, that's what I wanted from my life. I want to live simple. I've lived in fucking living campers my whole life, working at ranches. I lived in cabins with people from all over the world. My best friend Justin and I worked at the ranch together. And
You're already a bit of a gypsy.
yeah, I literally was part of, like, these tattoos are from my gypsy crew. Like, back home, I literally worked for a company called, the Gypsy Incorporated. And that's a real, really neat thing I got to be a part of there. My mentor, Matt Spencer, who honestly reminds me a lot of Chris Rue, I had him back home, and he is the one who gifted me my J45 and all that, but he kind of showed me everything, and like he let me what you have is what you make of it. It's only as big a deal as you make it, stuff like that. I am, so I will. Little things that really meant a lot to me, little sayings and mottos he had, just really made me realize how important my mentality was, and like having a good mindset. And my mother did that too, but Matt just really instilled it in my head. And I think that's, the reason I am the way I am. And I've been really lucky to have good people to look out for me and make sure I'm going the right direction. And even if that's in a fifth wheel trailer, that's...
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's...
if you're comfortable, the thing is, you're fucking you're putting everything into it.
Absolutely.
You're not going into it half-assed.
Yep.
You're not scheduling it around some other job. You're fucking in it 100%.
There is no weekend warrior here. This is not.
This is 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all day long.
Don't be wrong. Sometimes I'm like, another job would be nice, but also too, like, it's just because I haven't been working as hard at booking. You have only yourself to blame when something's slow.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I think I'm not going anywhere. I know I'm not going anywhere.
I think you're going over there.
Yeah.
You're going to play some guitar, right?
We're going to make some damn music.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited to see you work that.
So, we got this
insane stomp box.
So what are you going to debut? Let's talk about it before we get all set up in here. We're going to do a little transition and get things set up. What song are you going to play? Milk and Honey?
Milk and Honey.
You got some shows coming up?
I do. I'm going to be here.
Oh, hold on. That's almost pointless. We don't know when this is going to be edited.
Well, the whole thing is where can we, your website? What website can we get?
Let's do that.
KadeIsaakson.com.
There you go. KadeIsaakson.com for all upcoming dates and tour.
Instagram.
I'm not going to lie to you. My Instagram is where I do best keeping up with dates and everything.
Mm-hmm.
My web page, I should do better. That's my fault, everyone. I need to get a fucking manager. I need to get somebody who can help me with that because I'm stupid with technology. Kade Isaakson Band is neat and cute, but we got also
And Kade
Instagram.
was a K.
Yeah, spell it.
Yeah.
KadeIsaakson.
Yes.
BAND.
So our good friends, Dos Rios,
Yeah, Dos Rios
Thank you,
Tequila.
Alan.
Nice, guys.
provided us with inspiration.
Yeah.
Lots.
Prost.
We don't lack
Cheers.
inspiration here at the Grove.
Kade Isaakson, live on the Outlaw Underground.
Here I am, beer in my mouth and all.
Here you is.
You might take a little more time. You might break Lord with your bad advice. She don't come for love or money. Yeah, just milk and honey. I might play those sweet goodbyes, and I know I wasted sweet as time. She don't come for love or money. Yeah, just milk and honey. She might say I've given night. I might play games with this me at night. She don't come for love or money. Yeah, just milk and honey.
Hey!